Before you buy one of these jump starter air compressor combos, I need to tell you something. You could spend $300 to get the best compressor and jump starter on the market, only to find out a major flaw that could very well be a deal breaker. So after testing out these units, here are the biggest things you need to understand before buying one. Out of the ones I just tested, the Noco AX65, the $300 one, had the fastest compressor. It inflated my completely flat Miata tire from 0 PSI to 26 PSI in 42 seconds. Compared to the Gulu, the $99 one took 1 minute and 30 seconds, and the DeWalt $219 one, 2 minutes and 14 seconds. And finally, the $62 unit, the cheapest one on this list, 3 minutes and 16 seconds. The Noco also inflated my Ram ProMaster tire from 50 to 80 PSI in only 2 minutes and 18 seconds. 2 minutes, 18 seconds. That is crazy. Which compared to the Gulu A5, which took 6 minutes and 13 seconds, while the cheaper unit could not complete the test in one continuous run, and the DeWalt became stuck at 79.9 PSI, which is a little sad. The Noco AX65 is extremely fast in pumping up tires, and it's due to its larger, more substantial compressor. But here's the issue with the Noco. It has the smallest battery size of the whole group at 32 watt hours. When I tried to pump up all the tires around the van, it could only pump up 1.5 tires before it completely died. Which brings me to my next point, battery size. The Gulu A5 takes the opposite approach of the AX65. The compressor is slower, but the battery is 74 watt hours. I was able to use it to pump up all the tires around the van, and it still had 3 bars of battery left, which is pretty dang good. The Gulu also performed extremely well as a jump starter. I removed the fuel pump fuse from the Miata so the engine could crank without starting. The Gulu cranked for 21 seconds, then 19 seconds, then another 12 seconds. That is 52 seconds of total crank time, and it still showed half battery. The Noco, however, delivered 60 seconds of continuous crank time, but it was completely dead afterwards. So the Gulu is way competitive with its jump start capabilities, all while having a lot more battery in reserve. Now let's talk about jump starter cable thickness. These guys right here. The cheapest unit appeared to use approximately 10 gauge jump starter cables. It provided 32 seconds of crank time, which really isn't terrible for a $62 unit, but the unit did start beeping, and when I touched the cables, it was extremely hot. Started beeping. Very hot wires, very hot. The Gulu A5 uses 8 gauge wires, which became warm but not hot after consistently cranking the battery. And the Noco uses 6 gauge wires, and finally the DeWalt uses 4 gauge wires. So the lower the gauge number, the thicker the wire. Thicker wire carries more current and has less resistance, which means less heat. But the cables are not the only thing you need to worry about overheating. The compressor itself and the hose can overheat. When I tried to inflate the ProMaster tires from 50 to 80 PSI, the cheapest compressor pumped non-stop for 7 minutes and 13 seconds before it started to overheat. It could not complete the test in one run, and the hose ended up getting so hot, approximately 130 degrees Celsius or 266 degrees Fahrenheit. And the DeWalt had a similar problem. It ran approximately 12 minutes, then became stuck at 79.9 PSI, and it started to smoke and overheat at 10 minutes. The Noco's compressor handled the job significantly better than the competition, but a smaller battery limited how long it could go for. Now, when I'm testing these jump starters and jump starter combos, it is essential to be able to jump start a completely dead battery. Some smart jump starters simply will not jump start a dead battery, and it needs a little bit of voltage to kick over the motor. And most of these smart jump starters do have an override button that you can press that will kick over the dead battery. However, the unique thing about the Noco, that it requires you to hold its override button for around 3 seconds before connecting it to a completely dead battery. The other 3 units activated without any extra steps, which made them easier to use. So which one should you buy? My goodness, it really depends on how you plan to use it. If you need a very basic emergency tool and you do not plan on inflating large tires and performing extended jump starts, the cheapest unit may be enough. It has a 99 watt hour battery, the biggest lithium battery of the group. If you want the fastest compressor, strong jump starting capabilities, probably the highest build quality, then you want this one. As long as you're okay with, the battery being smaller. If you want the best balance of it all, large enough battery, compressor performance is pretty decent, and jump starting performance is very impressive, then you want this one. I think this probably offers the most value for most people. I'll put all 4 units down below for your convenience. You can check them out if you want to. And hopefully this helped you out. This is Chris. Always appreciate and respect another. See you next time.